Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're going to have ourselves a 1v1 on Langreskaya. Our heroes today are going to be Once Over, playing as the US Forces. And his opponent in the red is going to be none other than Jesulin, playing as the Austere in the red. So no OKW this time. Let's talk about our players a little bit. I mean, the map, you pretty much know it. It is Langreskaya, so if you don't, I mean, well, I don't know what to do for you. But anyways, our opponents are just ridiculous as far as their ranking goes. Jesulin, the guy that we're looking at right now, well, he currently holds, at the time of casting this, obviously it shifts and such. It's been different before, but right now, at the time of casting, he holds the number 2 spot for the Western Front armies and the number 3 spots for the original armies. So the same on those. So it's just ridiculous. And Once Over for his part, not a scrub. He currently holds the number 4 rank for his U.S. forces 1v1. So, you know, pretty good. So that means we have number 4 against number 3. So should be an awesome game. So let's take a look at what's been going on and try and speak properly, but probably not going to happen. We see that Once Over, getting himself rifles. He has selected his Doctrine right off the bat, which is the Airborne company. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what he is trying to do. But so far, he only has 2 rifles on the field with a rear echelon squad. He is setting up a fighting position right out in the open, probably going to be covering the strategic point, the cutoff point. Doesn't have a 50 cal machine gun by default, obviously, but he can garrison his troops, and if he garrisons a rear echelon squad, he gets the rifle grenades for free, so it's kind of cool. Left-hand side, we do have an engagement. Grenz and Pios engaging 2 rifle squads. The rifle squads will win the engagement rather easily. We do see the Pios closing the distance with their SMGs, trying to get as much DPS on those rifles as they can. But the rifles quickly pull back, get themselves into some light cover at range, and just put the hurt on that rifle squad. Pios moving up on the left-hand side, coming up with an MG for Jesulin, going to be flushing out those rifles from the fuel point up in the north. Whoa, the rifles actually managed to just jog their way out of the arc of fire of the MG42 without getting suppressed. That is kind of bad news there for Jesulin. Grand Squad is forced to retreat, and the rifles are still on the field and still a major threat. So we see that Jesulin, for his part, has built 3 Grens with an MG42, building the MG42 as the 3rd unit, and then the other Grand Squad. With, of course, meaning, you know, right for tier 1. Round center map. Rifle squads and the Grens engaging. We see a rifle squad popping into the house while the other one dukes it out outside. Another win for the rifles against the Gren squad, and more Gren squads keep coming out of the field. This other one over here getting reinforced, but not pushing out. And the MG42, getting covered here by the Pio squad, is creeping its way up onto the left-hand side. Far right-hand side, we have the rear echelon squad just capturing territory. More rifles now on the field for Once Over. He is probably going to be building something. Yeah, we see the lieutenant getting built. Unfortunately, it does not show up there where I would want it to, but, well, what can you do, right? It would be nice if you could see it right there. Anyways, left-hand side, more capping. We see the MG42 set up to cover the entire approach. Catches a rifle squad, forces it to retreat. It did shoot a little bit into the house. Probably did significant damage there, and there it goes. Fighting position now getting upgraded with this 50 cal machine gun. That will give them a nice cover here on the front. Obviously, you can still see that there is a gap here where you can get up to the fighting position. But, I mean, it's probably unlikely that he's going to be able to do much, and you're already covered in the base by some other stuff. So, yeah, a little bit difficult. Grenade goes off onto the rifle squad into the center, and does it get the kill? No, sliver of health left. Barely makes it out of there, but it is still alive. Rear echelon on the right, retreating. Not too much damage on that. And we now have the lieutenant on the field. Lieutenant heading over here with the rifle squad coming up. We see Jesulin pushing with his troops. MG42 setting up in the center to cover the victory point and the left-hand side approach, leaving the right-hand side field open, which is where the infantry for Once Over is pushing. Lieutenant popping into the house. Excellent position for it. We'll be able to provide some cover fire with the bar inside the house. Grens on the right-hand side, not in the firing range of the house, so nothing is going on right now. Far left-hand side, rifle squad going through the edge of the map, anticipating some type of MG just set up to cover the approach. Unfortunately for Once Over, we see that there is nothing covering that side, but, you know, it is a nice habit, I guess you could say, for him to have. Because usually you just grab and you like click on the point and send people a cap, and you know, most of the times you can just leave your MG covering the point and you know, it'll run into it, sending it through the edges. It gives you a nice opportunity to flank. So center map, we see an engagement, MG42 catching a rifle squad as it's capping the victory point. It manages to get suppressed but not pinned down. Second rifle squad comes in for the flank. Rear echelon squad and lieutenant coming in for a bigger flank, forces the MG42 to retreat. Gren's trying to hold the line. Center map, we do have a Gren squad doing a lot of damage to the rifles that are still suppressed. They are down to 2 men, will need to be retreating. Further down south, oh, a nasty rifle nade goes off on the lieutenant. Actually gets a kill on the lieutenant himself. We see that the bar rifle is still alive, but the lieutenant and his Thompson SMG is currently gone from the squad. You can see the lieutenant crawling right there. Left-hand side, we do have a pack gun on the field for Jesulin. Rifle squad's right on top of the pack gun. Could potentially decrew it, but considering the proximity to the base, doesn't look likely. And even if they do get a decrew, they will not get a cap. Lieutenant taking massive damage here to the MG42 and the LMG on those Grens. Forced to retreat. The rifle squad, yeah, does actually manage to get the decrew of the pack gun, but, well, again, they can't go for the steal since an MG42 was already covering it, and that will allow Jesulin to recover it rather quickly. Volley fire activated on the rear echelon squad. Remember, the volley fire will make these guys more vulnerable. If you want, I'll read the description of the ability so you can, you know, believe me if you don't, but right now they're retreating. Left-hand side, rifles did go for the cap of the fuel point. They'll need to go back to connect the strategic point. But a nice push right there for Once Over. He did manage to inflict quite a bit. And now with his tier 1 unlocked, he gets himself the anti-air half-track. Moving it in reverse, getting a lot of damage in there on those squads. The pack gun is still, no, it actually has been recovered. Sets up in the map, going to be able to get a shot off on the half-track. Nails it on the rear, because obviously it's facing in, you know, the rear. But it's right at the edge, manages to just drive off and will get quickly repaired eventually. Once Over will need to be rather careful with it, but he's fine. Ambulance on the field for Once Over, just being used basically to pop heals for the retreated infantry. And here we go, the rear echelon squad. You can see the volley fire. Rear echelon troops lay down a volume of fire with their rapid firing carbines. While active, the targeted squad slowly becomes suppressed. And actually, it doesn't say it there. Wow, I'm stupid. Well, I mean, I can try and look up the patch notes where it was changed, but well, it doesn't say it in the description, which is unfortunate. In fact, since I don't want to you know, have the doubt throughout the game, I'm not going to look it up right now while we see the game. Pio squad managing to force away a rifle squad. Obviously, it didn't do it by itself. It did have a little bit of, you know, support, but it did accomplish that feat. Rifles continue to push. One going through the hole in the hedge, getting stopped by the MG42. Right-hand side, more rifles and the lieutenant pushing forward. The MG42 is set up to cover, but it decides to reposition itself to cover the entire approach, making sure that nothing sneaks by. Rifle squad's getting shot at. We'll probably get suppressed. There it goes. And we see the lieutenant closing the distance. Do we have grenades for Once Over? No. He decides to just push a little bit forward, do maybe some splash damage there, but no. Ends up having to retreat. Left-hand side, half-track being utilized in reverse. This is exactly how you have to use this thing, because it is going to be able to shoot immediately. Now, however, it is unable to continue to shoot. Does get itself Fausted, but does not really get a kill or anything on that. Shots fly, but there you go. Center map, we hear another engagement. We have rifles and, ooh, paratroopers now on the field for Once Over. Getting upgraded with that LMG, which is oh so sweet, oh so powerful. I have tried out the Thompson submachine guns, which is nice, but I still, yeah, I mean, I still agree that the LMG is far better. Pack gun moves over to the left-hand side, trying to catch the half-track, but the half-track has gotten repaired. I didn't check, but it is possible that Jesulin, I mean, not Jesulin, Once Over used the ability of the crews inside to repair like critical damage and get the engine back and running. Either that or he repaired fully by default and then took a shot from the pack gun as he was moving away, but it did look like it was too low. But no, yeah, he did use it later. There you go. Repair critical. So it like removes, for example, like the engine damage and repairs a little bit, but you don't have to repair the tank or the vehicle to full strength to get rid of the critical damage, which is nice. It's a nice ability there. Rifles moving through the center. Again, running into that MG42. MG42 set up very nicely for Jesulin. Pretty much all the time, he manages to catch enemy troops for once over, just pushing forward. But yeah. There we go. I'm trying to look it up as we go. Go to the last page, and we'll go back from there. Left-hand side rifles going to go to the building. Nice little sneak cap there on the building, or taking the building from the Grens. The Grens taking a lot of fire there from the rifles, losing one of their men. Oh, Pack-on actually nailing one of the rifles as they move forward. Brings him down to 4, but they're still alive, and we now have a vehicle, and that is a half-track, the SDK SC 250 half-track. That is basically the one that comes with a Panzer Grenadier squad inside, which obviously you can see it there, but if you are versed in the commander lingo, you know that that is the Mechanized Assault Doctrine. Oh, nice catch here of the Lieutenant by Jesulin. He's chasing it down with those Panzer Grenadiers in the half-track. Oh, that is actually quite unfortunate. He went for the Shrek upgrade. If he hadn't actually gotten the Shrek upgrade, he could have potentially chased down the Lieutenant and killed the squad. But, well, wanting to be able to take down the flag half-track, the anti-air half-track, he upgraded the Shreks on those guys and lost 50% of its anti-infantry capability, essentially. Paratroopers decide to retreat as they are faced by flanking piles and the half-track. But, I mean, they didn't really take too much damage. Anti-tank gun getting dropped onto the world. That is through the Doctrine, the Airborne Doctrine, since it has that. Which is a nice little feature of the Airborne Doctrine, which means you can potentially skip one of your tiers. Like, for example, if you go for tier 2 and skip the Lieutenant, you can get yourself a 50 cal machine gun if that's something that you wanted. Oh! Half-track takes a shot, second shot goes in. Oh, it stays alive! Wow! That is unfortunate there for Jesulin. That half-track is still alive, gonna get repaired, and bad news. Paratroopers, rifles, everything pushing forward. Oh, rifle squad in the house goes down. That is unfortunate. Lieutenant moving in that direction, but that squad has been wiped out from existence. But in the center, we see that Once Over has managed to win the engagement and pushes everything back. Now in the base, we have the Stuggy, the Stug 3E. Obviously, the doctrinal tank. Excellent against infantry. Shot's gonna fly, gonna do a lot of damage. You can see it right there. 1 kill in the first shot, 2 kills in the second. More shots fly all over the place. Does have an AT gun on the field, but the AT gun is not looking in the right direction. The Stuggy may actually be able to take it out. No, it decides to stop and focus on the paratroopers. The AT gun sets up, takes a nice shot on the side armor. Second shot may fly. Could even pop his armor-piercing rounds. No. Nails it on the rear armor, down to about 25% strength. One more shot should finish it out, but he is going to wait. Right-hand side, the half-track is also getting shot at by the AT gun, and down it goes. Pioneers popped out. And the... Oh, the Stuggy went down too. It looks like it might have actually gone down to the flag half-track, or anti-air half-track. Yes, it did. Its main gun shooting on the rear of a tank still does damage. Tries to move out of the way. The Panzer Grenadiers trying to get a volley off, but they do not manage to do so. And the half-track is out of this fight. Pack-on still alive. MG42 set up on the outside of the base for Jesulin, trying to stop the approach of the infantry here for Once Over, and he does force a retreat. Does have a forward retreat position as he now has the Major and obviously the ambulance next to it, which is an excellent ability for the U.S. forces. And yeah, we'll see. Let's see if I can do a quick search here of the... well, I could actually just search, right? Control F, and that is rear. That is weird. Anyways, let's keep a little bit of a screen look here on that thing, and we'll see if we can find that. I think it's on the previous page, so I'm not finding it. Control F, rear. Well, actually, we'll go Echelon. There we go. Echelon. 35mm gun carrier ready. There it is. Let's see if we can find anything further down. No, it's all here. Okay. This happened on the 3rd of July, it looks like. Yeah. The 3rd of July upgrade is when it happened. I love this tank, the howitzer tank for the US forces. It's so good. Able to hit everything pretty much. Rifle squad pushes forward. Grenadiers push forward, getting shot at by the anti-air. Half-track pack manages to nail it, but still stays alive. Quite a nasty little bugger there, not wanting to die. Almost veterancy too at this point. But yeah, hey, Mollyfire says, added animation state while ability is active. Rear echelon now receive a 50% receive accuracy penalty while active. Remove cooldown bonus, remove reload bonus, and reduce suppression values from 0.4 to 0.2. So yeah, we got hit back in the 3rd of July, so they get hit more often while the volley fire is active. And you can actually tell, I mean, when you activate the volley fire and they're on a one-on-one fight, they just get annihilated. So rear echelon just managing to shoot at range, not rear echelon, the howitzer just able to shoot at range, keeping all the troops here for Jesulin at bay. Jesulin does have himself 2 pack guns, which will limit the ability for Once Over to just simply push forward, but he pushes forward with the infantry, meaning the howitzer can just barrage at range. Also has the barrage ability, this one, which actually has more range than the standard shot, so you can also just do that from a very safe distance and try to take out the weapons. Mortar on the field for Jesulin. It's an interesting choice. I mean, oh, Grenadier squad goes down over on the right-hand side. We see a nice little blob here for Once Over, pushing with all his, well, not all his troops, but 2 rifles. Well, actually, pretty much, yeah, all his troops. The only thing missing here is the rear echelon squad. Howitzer actually moves up, getting some shots through the hedge, getting some damage in there. Rifles and everything continue to push forward. We see a barrage getting called in. That is a light artillery barrage, I think it's called. I forget what it's called, but fortunately for Once Over doesn't manage to do much. We do still have an MG42 on the field, managing to stop the approaching troops. Where is it anyways? Ah, there it is. And we see a full retreat here by Once Over, but again, I mean, he is pretty much in the center of the map, so he doesn't have to retreat far. Flag half-track moves in to try to clear out. Oh, jeez, that thing just doesn't want to die. Moved in for a flank to try and dislodge that MG42 from the side, but yeah, with the pack guns, it's very difficult to get a lot of damage in there. So the anti-air half-track moves up to the north. Gonna get repaired over there, and we still have that point over here covering. Mortar shots just flying all over the place. The mortars can actually damage the howitzer. It's kind of an annoying thing, considering that it's a tank, but something you have to be a little bit careful with. Lieutenant pushing forward as a Grenadier squad moves up. Shots from the howitzer fly at it, but it misses. And again, we see the push here from the troops of Once Over. Not bringing the 2nd Rifle Squad this time, just pushing with 3. Probably he's gonna try to harass and see what he can spot. Does he have grenades or anything like that? No, nothing just yet. Howitzer shots continue to fly from a distance. A nasty shot there on the Lieutenant. Lieutenant is forced to retreat. Rifles pushing forward. Paratroopers now veterancy 3 as they take a massive hit. Another Stuggy on the field. Rifle squad down to 2 men. Needs to retreat. Retreats. Down to 1 man. Can he make it out? Gren squad takes a nasty shot there from the howitzer and almost dies. Howitzer needs to back off. No, it actually gets in range of the pack gun. The pack gun able to shoot it. Does shoot it. Oh, that howitzer's dead. It's gone. It's dead. It's gone. Oh, very nice there by Once Over. He actually pops his smoke and breaks line of sight. Stuggy catches the flak half-track up in the north as it is trying to harass the MG42. Flak half-track gonna try and run away. Not gonna be able to do too much damage to the Stuggy as it's not hitting it on the rear armor. And, well, the flak gun itself is not very strong. Well, we do see a Thunderbolt strafing run right on top of the Stuggy. Brings it down to a sliver of health. Nasty shot there. So he needs to be careful with that tank. Tank's going to back off all the way back to his base and probably repair there. Far right-hand side, we have a Pio squad going for a cap. We have a fighting position. Nice, interesting position for the fighting position. Covering the strategic point here, not covering this one, leaving open this flank here, so it's kind of weird. I mean, it's very easily flankable, but I guess it's fine, I suppose. Can't cover every direction. Mortar on the field for Jesulin, still just shooting away. It's already veterancy 2, which is quite impressive considering it only has 6 kills, so it's done a significant amount of damage. With the vision provided by the Thunderbolt, we see the howitzer tank moving up. Gets shot at there by the pack gun, forced to back off, continues to shoot into the base, trying to clear out that mortar. Mortar down to 2 men. Paratrooper squad moves up, gets right in front of the pack gun. Grenadier squad moves in to engage it. And an infantry unit was wiped out up in the north. And it looks like it was the rear echelon squad. So the rear echelon squad got eliminated by the Panzer Grenadiers. Paratroopers forced to retreat. Right-hand side, Lieutenant engaging against the Brens. Lieutenant is veterancy 3. What does it say about its veterancy? Veterancy 1, combat increasing unit survivability. Survivability and weapon control while under fire. And allows the squad to stay on their toes and remain sharp, increasing mobility and weapon accuracy. So they move actually faster. Is it just the general buff, or is it like the out of combat buff? Yeah, it looks like it's out of combat. Nice flank there by the Lieutenant. Gets right on top of the pack gun, clears it out. The rifles are going to try and go for the steal, it looks to me. We see the Stuggy, veterancy 2 now, moving up. The pack gun has been recruited. Needs to run out of there if he wants to stay alive. It's going to be turned around against the Stuggy to try to get it out of the way. We see a artillery barrage right on top of the AT gun. It manages to take out the Stuggy, however. That is bad news bears there for... Oh, the Lieutenant gets nailed on the retreat. Was it worth it? Maybe, but that hurt. Thunderbolt was called in to hit the Stuggy, but now it's just circling around, providing vision, but not having too much to do. Howitzers still on the field. We actually have 2 Howitzers tanks on the field, both of them getting shot by pack guns, but they are just besieging the base, managing to inflict a lot of damage. Howitzer tank backs off. The other one did get damaged, so it backs off even further. Paratrooper still on the field. Rifle grenade right on top of it. Kills 3 of them. 3 still alive. With the howitzer tank active, it forces the retreat. Howitzer tank needs to back off a little bit. The pack gun has moved up to be able to engage it. Panzer Shreks flying from the Panzer Grenadiers. Shots from the howitzer misses. Yes. And rifle squad continues to push forward. We now see a tank destroyer getting built. It's the Jackson tank destroyer for once over. And yeah, left-hand side, flak half-track being utilized to clear out the zone, but I don't think there's much around there. Howitzer shots just flying all over the place, not actually nailing anything, which is unfortunate. Not sure if they don't have line of sight. Howitzer takes a nasty shot to the rear armor, tries to move out of the way, manages to get itself out of there. More shots continue to fly from the howitzer, and not nailing anything. That is actually quite surprising, as the howitzers are really accurate. At least in my experience, they've been really accurate. So, rifle squad down to 1 man, needs to get itself out of there. It's pinned down. It does provide, vision to the howitzers, but I mean, they're still not hitting anything, so it doesn't really matter. Paratrooper server on the left-hand side gets stopped by the MG42, and again we have a Stuggy on the field for Jesulin. Jesulin investing a lot on his Stuggies, meaning that he will not be able to call in Tiger very soon, but he needs something on the field, and I mean, he does have, well, I mean, it is only 89 fuel, so it's going to be quite a while if he wants to go for the Tiger. But we'll see if the light tactics work out. Jackson now finally online and operational, coming onto the field. The howitzer tank getting repaired and now back to action. And on the left-hand side, rifles gonna go for the cap of the fuel. Up north, we have the flak half-track getting repaired or already repaired, but the crew inside just taking a breather, walking around, stretching their legs. AT gun still sitting in the center of the map, getting bombarded by the mortar, but making sure that no vehicles move up. Howitzer gonna go down, takes a second shot, moves out of the way. Oh, the pack actually missed! And this pack was just attacking ground as it knew it was there. Jackson tank with a nice looking skin. That actually is pretty sexy. Moves up and hunting the Stuggy. Stuggy now in deep shit. The packs turned themselves around to face the Jackson. Throw a nice barrage and actually bring it down to a sliver of health. Take it down before it can shoot one last time, and that is an unfortunate turn of events there for Mr. Once Over. He got a little bit greedy there with that Jackson. Could have left the Stuggy alive and fight it in a more favorable position. Rifle pushes forward. MG42 again stopping it. Victory points are 455 for Once Over and 252 for Jesulin. So, well, I mean, Once Over does have a nice 200-point lead and has more of the map in his possession. Simply the fact that he has his retreat position right here allows him to keep this point pretty much all the time and very easily defend this one. So it is a nice position for him to have chosen for that. Oh, grenade goes off from the paratrooper squad, as the paratroopers do not need the research grenades. They have their own grenades in their cooked, which means they have a shorter fuse, and they take down the pack gun, or at least decrew it. Another Jackson getting produced for Once Over. Rifles going over on the left-hand side as the flak half-track just sits around there. Gren's pushing forward. We see a Shrek dropped by the Panzer Grenadiers. It gets picked up by the Gren squad. Shots fly from the howitzer, nailing the Gren and forcing it to retreat. MG42 is just getting peppered there by the howitzer tanks. Gets cleared out. Rifles right on top of it. Shots fly from the howitzers to the pack gun. Well, not the pack gun, the Stuggy. The pack gun returning fire through the hedge, managing to hit one of them, I'm pretty sure. Where is it? There it is. Yeah. Oh my god, that actually almost went down. Howitzer backing off as it's getting pushed on by the Stuggy. The Stuggy now getting shot by the AT gun. Gonna be going down right in front, providing some heavy cover there for Once Over's army. And he gets himself yet again a Jackson on the field. Artillery barrage getting called in right on top of the anti-tank gun, which is unfortunate there for Once Over. Loses his veterancy, but the weapon itself is still alive, so he can easily recover it. Has a ambulance nearby to reinforce it and such, heal the troops. So I mean, in that sense, it's fine, but it is, you know, kind of unfortunate. Pack guns once again recovered here by Jesulin. Going to be pushing forward, gets himself right up to the hedge. Going to have the range to be able to shoot. Howitzer moves itself right next to the the pack guns, lobs over a shot right on top of them and manages to inflict almost no damage. Second howitzer down to half health, needs to get repaired, and the rifle squad is getting pinned down by the MG42. Gonna be forced to retreat. Left-hand side fuel has been taken from by the rifles. They are going for a sneak cap on the victory point. And on the far right-hand side, we have a Gren squad with a Shrek going for the cap of just that strategic point. Howitzers able to do a lot. Jackson tank just sitting there in front of the Major, making sure that he is covered. Another Stuggy on the field. Again, I mean, Jesulin cannot really afford to not have them on the field. Otherwise, he's just going to get walked all over on. But he also cannot help but lose them because, well, he is outgunned right now. Rifle squad retreating. Gonna run straight into the Stuggy. The Stuggy gonna shoot. Oh, takes 3 of them down in one shot. Gonna take another shot. Misses. Can he take one last shot before they get out of range? No, he cannot. And the rifle squad makes it out. Grand squad pushing up. gets itself right inside that house. A very nice maneuver there by Jesulin. Going to be very annoying. Howitzer tanks, however, throwing their barrages at the house, and we see a call-in light artillery barrage right on top of... That was weird. I mean, I know that he's... Oh, that goes out. I know that he's barraging right here. Right here. But I saw... oh, I know what happened. I know exactly what happened. I shouldn't be confused, but unfortunately the major went down. So, Jesulin barraged right here. But with the major, you have the ability to throw artillery barrages. And that is what Once Over did. He barraged the house, counter-barraged. Took it down to house, obviously, but it didn't really affect the units inside. They ended up retreating. But the major has been lost, which is a very unfortunate situation there for Once Over, because the major was providing him that forward reinforced position, which is very powerful. It was allowing him to keep just this position in the map and not have to go back all the way. Now his troops are going to be retreating all the way back to base, which will allow Jesulin a little bit of a comeback if he is able to keep his troops intact, especially the Stuggy. But it can allow him to force retreat a lot of forces, like for example here with the MG42, gets it pinned down in front of the Stuggy, forces a retreat, gives him a window of, oh, well, the pack gun's done, so that window's pretty much closing very quickly. But, I mean, it could potentially give him a window of time where he can push and force the troops for Once Over to back off. Sherman on the field for Once Over, getting some shots over on the right-hand side, getting shot from the pack gun, and not sure if it got Fausted, but it took a lot of damage. Howitzer tanks backing off. The pack gun is unable to get a shot off as it's moving. Howitzer tanks also moving out of the way as they, well, one of them took about half damage. And the Sherman is backing off to some safe distance as we have a big armored force here for Once Over. I mean, that's 2 Howitzers, 1 Sherman, and a Jackson. That is not an easy thing there for Jesulin to deal with, especially with only a Stuggy. Does have a pack on, but has actually lost one of them to the battlefield. It actually blew up, so it is less than ideal. And a Grand Squad that has a Shrek, so... Geez, it's talk about an uphill battle. Teller Mines getting laid down by Jesulin. Sneaky maneuver there. But it looks like he's probably going to be spotted here by the paratroopers. Yeah, gets spotted by the paratroopers. Gets opened on by the LMGs. And the... Oh, no! Actually still alive. And yeah, he actually makes it out. Teller Mine is deleted as he has been discovered. And we see a squad, which I'm assuming was a Grand Squad, go up in a puff of body parts. Not even smoke, just body parts and blood. And gets eliminated. Stuggy trying to stop the approaching rifles. Rifle squads or paratroopers backing off to capture the victory point. Victory points are down to 148 for Jesulin, so he is starting to run out of time. Howitzers able to just simply barrage at range. That pack on taking a lot of damage, down to 2 men, needs to back off and reinforce. Stuggy moves up to take its place. Ren's pushing forward with the Shrek equipped, and we see a flanking Sherman getting right at the top of the Stuggy. Has the... Well, it actually has the high explosive shots equipped right now. It looks like it was going for the flank on the pack gun to try to clear it out, but the pack gun had been moved, so he is SOL. High explosive shots firing from the Sherman, not managing to hit the Grand Squad as it retreats, and the Sherman just gets itself out of there. Howitzer tanks able to provide some cover fire from afar. And we have a second pack on the field for Jesulin, as he needs to have both if he doesn't want to get easily flanked. More paratroopers on the field for Once Over. He is going to be replacing any losses with paratroopers more than likely. And he has recovered his major, called in another one, and has once again his forward reinforced position set up. Because, yeah, I mean, it is a very strong feature. I mean, not having to run all the way back to base and not really having impact you. I mean, for example, back in, well, not Vico, but, you know, Tales of Valor and such. I mean, you did have with the British basically that ability to retreat to your captain, right? I think it was a captain. But the captain didn't really have the ability to heal. I mean, the only ability to heal with the British was the medic station. You had to pop munitions to heal. So even though you could retreat to your captain, and you could put your captain out on the field, you really were limited to the way that you could do it because you had to build the medic station if you wanted to get your units back to full strength. So here, just having the ability to move it with the ambulance and such, it makes it a lot more easy and versatile. So yeah. Anyways, enough of that. We see Jesulin go. Oh, Jesus! That Grand Squad just got annihilated. That is. That was. Yeah. That was tough to look at. Paratroopers pushing forward. We see an artillery barrage right on top of the paratroopers. Paratroopers going to try to dodge that. No, they actually get nailed by the light artillery barrage, retreat, and they make it out. Howitzer tanks just lobbing shots over the hedge, getting damage in on those pack guns. Pack guns forced to back off. And the Stuggy, also taking some damage, is now going over to the left-hand side, going to try and force away that rifle squad. Pyos pushing forward, running into the LMGs of a Veteran C3 paratrooper squad. Going to get themselves killed if they don't retreat now. They retreat, but actually they make it out. Grand Squad pushes forward and gets a lot of damage in there on that paratrooper squad and forces it away. It itself having to retreat as well. Pack gun sets up, takes a shot at the howitzer tanks. Howitzer tanks gonna be... No, actually they're gonna be fine as the tank destroyer went for a flank. Gonna try and take out the Stuggy. And it will succeed. Main gun has been destroyed on the Stuggy. The Jackson is no longer able to shoot at the Stuggy. And it gets out of there alive. Pack gun gets decrewed. Second pack gun gonna get decrewed as well as the paratroopers with their LMGs are just pushing forward. Stuggy unable to help stop this. Pyos squad going over here just to the left-hand side by itself. Gonna take forever to repair it because it's only a one-man squad. And an abandoned MG42 in the base just tells the tale of what is going on in this game. Tiger on the field for Jesulin, pretty much the only thing or exactly what he needs with the Tiger. He may be able to push back. He is down to 91 points, however, 90 now. So he doesn't have a lot of time, but the Tiger does have the strength that he needs to be able to push. The biggest threat for the Tiger is the Jackson. The Jackson is currently up in the north getting repaired. It is at about 75% strength. So the Tiger doesn't have too much to worry about. There is an AT gun that it has to worry about, but the howitzer tanks will not be able to inflict too much damage on it. The Sherman may be able to get some decent damage on the rear armor if it goes for the rear armor, but so far the AT gun unable to even penetrate the frontal armor of the Tiger. We see a barrage getting called in right on top of all the troops. The Major is not retreating. Oh, massive damage. Major's still alive. Everything's still alive down to 2 men themselves, but the AT gun does get decrewed. More shots land all over the place. A full round here from the troops. The ambulance is going away as well. The Tiger did take some damage. It now has a damaged engine, getting some shots off on the Sherman. The Sherman managing to back off, getting more penetrating shots on the rear armor. Shots continue to fly from the Tiger, manages to miss it and lose. Jackson now on the field, able to help out, getting a lot of damage in on the Tiger. If the Tiger goes down, that's going to be GG. A nasty shot, there goes. GG, well played, says Jesulin. He knows what's going to happen, and he surrenders before his Tiger goes down. And you can see the Tiger at the moment of explosion, essentially, as you see shells just hitting it all over the place. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.